We have Mid Allen, as he would say, and we have the boyfriend
Metric
of
Mahomes.
a mid singer-songwriter. So we have that going for us.
Whoa.
I mean, you guys.
Wow.
This
man.
podcast.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
Guys, I'm out. I got nothing.
Sean, clip that so we can put that on TikTok. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Ride the Pine. I am your host, Kenny Hutton. I am here with Cameron May, Adam Freeman. What's happening, fellas?
Just super pumped up for football. Can't wait to talk more football.
Very NFL heavy episode. Honestly, if you're a listener, we're going to be in and out in about hopefully 20 minutes because there's not a lot to talk about. NHL's at halfway point. We don't care about the NBA. Nothing's happening in the MLS, and baseball apparently has decided they're not doing free agency because nobody is signing. So we're going to talk NFL playoffs. Cameron, fill us in on our pick'ems from last week, please.
Yeah, so there is a new king after the first week. Adam with 5 bets correct. The only game he picked wrong was Dallas, which can't really blame him. I don't think anyone saw that shit show.
Everybody picked that game wrong.
Except for Kenny,
Incorrect.
who came in second with 4 correct. He missed L.A. and Philadelphia, hit on all the other ones. And then you have me and Sean tied for the wooden spoon, both with 3 correct, both missing all the same games even. Dallas, Miami, and Cleveland. Miami, in hindsight, probably wasn't our best pick. We probably should have looked into the stats on Tua in cold weather. I was betting with my heart, though, hoping to see the Chiefs go home. So that's on me. Hand up.
He plays like a reptile. So like when it gets really cold, like those iguanas in Florida that fall out of the trees, that's how Tua performs in the cold.
I mean, the whole team did, honestly. Like, they all looked terrible, other than the Tyreek catch, which in reality was just a vastly underthrown deep ball that the defender couldn't get back on. I mean, the whole team was terrible.
Debbie, I don't know if either team really super impressed me. The Chiefs' defense was dominating. Don't know how much of that can go up to the cold. Probably the most exciting thing that happened in that game was Patrick Mahomes' helmet shattering. That was probably the coolest thing. And now the company is issuing statements that, yeah, it's supposed to do that. It's like a car. It's a crumple zone. So I don't know if they're in damage control or if they know what they're talking. He didn't get a concussion, though, so I guess maybe they're right.
That's an immediate CYA move.
He wears that big Marvin the Martian helmet like it looks like he's got a 6 head. You know, Peyton Manning had a 5 head. I don't know what it is with his helmet and that quarterback from Liberty's helmet. It just looks too big on the damn head.
Eli had a helmet like that, too. Eli's was like a balloon on top of his head.
I actually fell asleep during the game. Yeah, that is true. It sucked. Let me tangent here real quick. NFL, NBC, you guys can go fuck yourselves. Because do you know how hard it was to set up an iPad, be in a hotel room, position it where we can hear it and not have a 5-year-old scream about she can't see the TV and blah, 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 blah. Just so inconvenient. And then they tout that, it was the most streamed game in history. Well, if you look at it, it was 6 million less viewers than the Texans and the Browns. Like, come on.
It's not hard to be the most streamed game whenever no one watches Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime because they get an awful slate all the time. And I think I saw a stat that 90% of the new customers have already canceled since then, which is incredible. It's amazing the amount of fuck you that the sporting world and the American people can all get behind one cause. And that is, we're tired of pay-per-view football games.
Just wait until the Super Bowl goes on pay-per-view.
Dude, they would have a riot. That people would riot.
But people would pay.
People would pay.
I think there is a select group of people that would pay, yes. Right? Like, there's always going to be those people.
Yep.
Well, the crappy thing about Super Bowl, but Super Bowl parties, that's the problem. Is that like their viewership, Super Bowl viewership is like 5 times what it actually reports at because they say that the average person that watches it has 3 to 4 people at least with them. So, like, you're at least 2 or 3 times, whatever the actual number is reported of people that actually watched it. That's where they'll lose even more money, is that they just have, giant watch parties now, and you'll have 150 people at, a tiny ass bar that paid $5.99 or whatever for their subscription, or, like a UFC event, they paid their $79 for the Super Bowl, and you don't get the viewership at that point. And the bars make money.
I'm not going to out the establishment, but there's a bar that I'm sure has been talked about before that I like to frequent. For a UFC fight, someone just brought their TV and a streaming stick into the bar and set it up on the bar in front of the draft station so that everyone in the bar could watch the UFC fights.
Yeah.
What pay-per-view did Charlie do that to?
It was not Charlie. We actually we accepted that we weren't going to be able to watch the last fight. We were out somewhere, and we come back, and lo and behold, someone was being the MVP of the night and had it set up right in front of the draft station circa 1905. Don't ever get a draft beer if you go there.
Oh, that is what a hero.
All right, so let's jump to the other games real quick. 2 of the games were pretty much a blowout. The one not interesting game just because of probably who was playing, but it was interesting because of the final. The Texans beat the Browns 45-14. I think this one was over midway through the third quarter. Texans look pretty good. I mean, I have them, we'll get to that pick here in a minute, but I have them competing with the Ravens in the next one. So are the Browns just that bad? Or was Flacco on a mission because it's the NFC North rival of the Ravens? Or AFC. God damn it.
I don't think the Browns are that bad. Getting 2 pick sixes within,
that was incredible.
3 passes of each other doesn't help any final score line. But I mean, you're going to have that with someone who was sitting on their couch for the first 10 weeks of the season. You're going to get some turnovers. I guess he just wasn't elite this time.
Oh, I see what you're
Just remember, free the homies, right?
If you steal a car with a baby in it and armed robbery, I'm not sure.
And to the other blowout, the Packers beat the Cowboys. This one was a lot closer in the end than it really should have been. 48-32. This game was over by halftime. The Cowboys scored a touchdown to make it 27-7 and looked like they actually tried in the first half. Shocking that it ended this way. Kenny, you were the one that picked this one right. Why did you see it that way?
It was the trend. Honestly, it was. I don't think Dak Prescott is not an elite level quarterback. I truly believe, and this is giving Clay Travis credit, and
God, you hate to see that.
His turn to the dark side has been so bad. But he used to talk
great,
about
though.
how he used when he talked sports, he used to be great. And he used to kind of have a theory, like you need a top 10 quarterback to win the Super Bowl. No ifs, ands, or buts. And he said, maybe you get it with an 11, 12 guy if you have like just a dominating defense. Think of who the Ravens win the Super Bowl with, like a Hasselbeck, and even Joe
Trent
Flacco.
Dilfer.
Joe Flacco?
Trent
No,
Dilfer, thank you.
No, Dilfer.
No, it was
they won with Flacco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they won with Dilfer, I believe.
So the point remains the same, is that truly football is a quarterback's game. And Dak Prescott, to me, is not a top 12 quarterback. You could argue that, he might be 12, he might be 11 on a good week, but I don't think he's there. I mean, in a 10-team fantasy league, I'm probably not drafting Dak Prescott. And that's a simple way to look at it. But it is how I think most people who, don't know what they're looking at should look at it, right? Like, I'm not drafting Dak Prescott. We have a friend who is probably going to disagree with that. But I don't think the Cowboys can win with Dak Prescott. They also can't win with that rushing game they got because Pollard and the other guy is garbage.
Yeah, I mean, the only counterpoint, I guess, to that would probably be like Nick Foles with Philly taking down Tom Brady. But, I mean, crazy things happen when you get to the last game, but to actually get to the last game, I agree with that. I agree with that point.
The Nick Foles situation is such a one-off of a one-off
Yeah.
that it is. It might be one of the greatest sports moments ever, right? Like, this is the backup of a backup, basically, coming in and winning the Super Bowl. But with any game, we know it just takes one moment, right?
Yeah. I can hear Sean running through his door, shutting off the Twitch stream, kicking his dogs on the way through just to jump in to talk about how great of a moment that was for him. I don't think he's ready to talk Eagles football after that game we had to watch, though.
Yeah. There was a tweet I saw, and I sent it to Sean, and it had Jason Kelsey sitting on the bench crying because the rumor is that he's announced his retirement. And it said, "I wish I could take away all of Jason Kelsey's pain and give it to Ted Cruz." And I enjoyed that immensely.
Did Sean tweet that? Did he deactivate his?
No, I sent that to Sean, though.
Is playoff Baker for real, though? Played a good game.
I mean, all he has to do is manage the game, though. I mean, he's the outlier when it comes. He's just like Kenny was talking about. He's the guy that he could manage a game and be a top 15 quarterback that could go to a Super Bowl if he has the guys around him. I mean, Tampa has a good defense. They have wide receivers they're serviceable, especially with Mike Evans. Beyond there, you kind of get questionable. The running game is there. Like, he's the guy that could do something like that. Now, I think they're going to have a hard time moving on, but going up against Detroit, who knows?
Something happened though with that Philly team, and there must be some kind of schism in the locker room because, like, the defensive line looked terrible. Like, they just kind of didn't look like they wanted to be there. People are really pointing the finger at Sirianni, and I'll be interested to see if he survives. But I think that Lions defensive line is going to give Baker Mayfield fits.
Yeah,
so that would be my only hesitation. So any other games we haven't talked about? Or
yeah, I mean, honestly, I think other than the weather, the best game was the Lions-Rams.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I mean, I think that both teams fought through that game. It was kind of back and forth a little bit. I think they had the opportunity that, truthfully, I think in the fourth quarter, anybody could have really won that game. Like, I would not have been shocked by either way on that one. The Rams had two really good drives at the end and just came up a little bit short. So, I mean, that was the best game. And honestly, the only problem I see with the Lions is that they treated that like a Super Bowl. Like, the reaction of the fans, I don't think the team did quite as much. There was a decent amount of celebrating with it, but I have a feeling it could lead to a letdown coming in the second round. So I don't know. It was good to see them win though. Like, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, just remember all four of us called it.
Almost. So close. I do worry about Detroit's defense a little bit. They're very susceptible to the pass. They were able to stiffen up down the red zone, hold the Rams to a whole bunch of field goals, and that kind of saved the game for them. If they didn't stand tall in the red zone, that game could have easily have gone the wrong way. And Detroit's pass defense hasn't been great all year. Their rush defense is really good though, so it'll be interesting to see that matchup.
I mean, they do kind of remind me though of one of those teams that it gets into the playoffs. It's probably not their year, but makes a run. They may get to the NFC Championship game and compete in the NFC Championship game, but get held short. And then next year they're a Super Bowl contender. They're not far away. Their defense is there. Their offense is pretty damn good. And again, Jared Goff, not one of those guys that would be truly, other than because of his numbers, he probably is a top 10 quarterback, but he's not thought of as a top 10 quarterback.
He hasn't passed the Adam Freeman eye test?
Not yet. When he can prove to me that he knows which direction the sun rises from, then maybe I'll be okay with it. But he's still always going to have that part over his head and on the shadow that comes from the east when the sun rises. So I think that he I think he can get there. I truly do. I think that he has the weapons around him that he can get into being a top 10 quarterback. He's going to have to focus on keeping the ball a little bit better. That's where he struggles. He does throw a decent amount of interceptions.
Yeah.
All right, so on to the what are they calling this now? Divisional
the divisional
rounds?
round, yeah.
It was Super Wild Card Weekend.
Super
and that's
Wild Card Weekend.
Super stupid, but whatever.
Well, they're not the best at marketing.
I think,
All right, Cameron, what's the first game?
I think the viewership would disagree. The first game that's coming up is Houston at Baltimore. Kenny, where are you going?
I'm picking the Ravens. I mean, C.J. Stroud is a great young quarterback, but he is a rookie. They play in a dome. I don't know what the weather in Baltimore is going to be like again. Apparently, the country is getting ready to shift again and get another, cold blast. They're on the cusp, but they're not there yet. I really like the head coach of the Texans. What? How do you say his first? Is it
DeMarco?
Mako or Marco?
I thought it was DeMarco.
I think it's.
I thought it was
Ryans.
missing a letter, and it's not DeMarco, but whatever.
I'm pretty sure it's Ego.
I'm sure Jared Mayo would love to jump in here and help us out.
Yeah. With that being said, I will take Balmer, the Ravens.
Right. And Sean is taking Houston. Adam, who you got?
Hold on, I'm writing down Sean's.
I
I'm going Houston. I'm going Houston as well. There's going to be a decent upset, and I'm not confident in any of the other ones. And I think this has the opportunity to be there. The Texans have a very good defense. Their offense is okay. If they can stop Baltimore, who Lamar Jackson is not a playoff quarterback, they've got a pretty damn good chance. Cameron, what you got?
I am taking Baltimore. I think Baltimore has it. I think they're going to have, 9.5 point favorites if we're going against the spread, probably changing that around a little bit. But I think they'll win this game. I think they have enough on defense, and the offense has looked really good this year.
All right.
All
So,
right,
go ahead, Kenny.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say the second game on Saturday, the Packers are in San Francisco to face the 49ers. To me, I think this game has an opportunity to be an upset, but I'm going 49ers. I think the 49ers are a pretty damn good team. Probably going to end up being a Super Bowl pick for me. I've got the Niners in that one.
This is the game that I agree with you. I believe that is most likely upset alert. Well, in a true upset sense, I could see the Packers winning, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick the 49ers because their offense is a beast. So yeah. Sean, did we say Sean picked the Packers?
We did not. We did now, though, and that is quite the pick. I am also going with the 49ers. I think coming off the bye, Kyle Shanahan is usually phenomenal. So everyone got a little more healthy. McCaffrey got the rest of the calf. I think San Francisco wins.
All right, so Sunday, the Bucks and the Lions kick off at 2:15 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Thank
All
God
right,
for an early game.
Dear Sean picked the Lions. What say you, Cameron?
I am also picking the Lions. I think their hot streak is going to continue at least for one more week.
I've got the Lions as well. I think another game at home in Detroit. They're able to stop Baker, and I think they end up getting the win. They're a 6.5 point favorite, though. That's crazy.
I could see it being a shootout.
For sure.
Yeah. So in reality, this is the game that came down to a game time decision for me. And in this, and since we're doing pick'ems, I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the Lions. I can see same thing with the Packers game and the 49ers. I could see it going either way. I can also see the 49ers crushing them. I can see this game going either way. It would not surprise me if the Bucks win and win late. But I can also see the Lions doing essentially the same thing they did, getting a field goal, grinding out the last possession, winning the game. So I'm going to pick the Lions.
I mean, that is a lot of faith that this podcast has in the Lions. Every one of us is going with Detroit. The last game of the week.
Yeah. Hold on
Listen,
a second.
man,
We
King of the
all
Jungle.
also picked Detroit to win the NFC North. And somebody had them. Who is it? I had them in the NFC Championship game. So it does make sense.
Does make sense. We got a lot of love.
Yeah. All right, continue.
All right. Last game of the week, probably the most exciting game of the week, the new Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning rivalry that we have going on here. Or, I mean, to steal a phrase from Kenny, we might have to call it the Mid Bowl. We have Mid Allen, as he would say, and we have the boyfriend
Patrick
of
Mahomes.
a mid singer-songwriter. So we have that going for us.
Whoa.
I mean, you guys.
Wow.
This
man.
podcast.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Hey, you guys know me all too well, and I love to be the anti-hero. I'm sure Taylor's going to be up there in her cardigan looking gorgeous. This game is going to be a great war, but can I remind you of – let me take you back to December when Buffalo went to Kansas City and beat them. I don't think they're going to be able to shake it off. I am taking Buffalo to win this game.
Guys, I'm out. I got nothing.
Sean, clip that so we can put that on TikTok.
Yeah, that is going to be fantastic. Yeah,
You don't want to make the Swifties mad on TikTok. Buffalo.
I didn't know who you picked.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Got it. I was zoned out because I wasn't so sure. I think this game's going to be awesome. Apparently, Buffalo is expecting another 1 to 3 feet of snow, which I think is very, very awesome. That here in St. Louis, when we predict snow, God damn it, I need my pen. When we predict snow, we predict in inches, 1 to 3 inches. Buffalo does it in 1 to 3 feet. Size does matter, and I think that the weather plays a big difference in this game. I think being at home in Buffalo is able to pull this out. And that's the only way to do it.
All right, so Sean has also picked the Bills. Cameron, I'm so glad you mentioned Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Because you know who won more often in that matchup? Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes has not lost this matchup yet.
Well, he has, just not in the playoffs.
And that's the only place that counts.
First road game.
Chiefs. Get them by a field goal.
Guys, this game is going to be hella.
Mini Ditka. Get them by a field goal.
Get them by a field goal. I mean, this is the best game of the week. Like, I'm so glad it is the last game. It is Sunday night. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to watch it. If there's weather, it's going to be even better. This is it. The only thing that the part that pushed me to Buffalo, besides the weather, is the Chiefs. They cannot catch the goddamn football. It blows me away how bad of a wide receiver that Hardman is. That dude should not be playing one bit. He cannot catch a football. He can barely find the football. I just don't know how they do it. They're going to have to rely on Pacheco. That's it. If they can do that, then they've got an opportunity. But if they're going in a passing game and it's windy as hell, this game's going to be really tough for Kansas City to be able to win.
I will say what gives me pause on picking Buffalo is Kansas City's defense has been very, very good.
Yeah,
they've been great this year. They seem to be able to slow down pretty much anybody. If they can get Josh Allen sacked a lot. He likes to draw roughing the passer penalties, as Kenny pointed out earlier today. But I mean, if they can get away with it, I could see them stuffing the Bills.
See, ultimately, herein lies my problem too. Is when we get to this few of teams, I tend to pick the team that's got the Mizzou grad on it. Well, the Bills have Connor McGovern. And
is
Chiefs
it the real
have
Connor
Nick
McGovern
Bolton.
or is it the other Connor McGovern?
No, it's my Connor McGovern.
Just making sure.
Sorry, Connor. I like Nick Bolton better. I'm picking the Chiefs. I mean, and with him back, that Chiefs defense is completely different.
It's different.
They have somebody stout in the middle. Chris Jones is playing outside of his goddamn mind. And the secondary has actually been a strong suit.
Yeah.
being the
Sleeves
fan-in-law
awesome.
that I am, the secondary has sucked since I've known Jess. Like, outside of Eric Berry, like, the secondary has been awful in KC. And this year it's actually really good. So, yeah. I think the Chiefs' defense gets it done.
All right,
The
cool.
Chiefs need a receiver. So, yeah.
Yeah, big time. Cameron, hit them up with the socials.
Yeah, you could find us on Instagram
Maybe.
at pod.
There's no question
Ride
mark
the
on
Pine.
You run the Instagram.
At X on at pod Ride the Pine. On TikTok at RTP-Kenny. On YouTube, we are Ride the Pine Podcast. We're available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Like, subscribe, leave a review. I do run the Instagram. It was an issue of not being able to get the same handle, and I didn't want to mix them up.
Yeah.
You can follow Sean's Twitch,
Oh, yeah.
Falling Upwards.
That does not have to do with our podcast.
Isn't it Failing Upwards?
Well, Failing Upwards. It is Failing Upwards.
Maybe it's flailing upwards. You know, he's like waving his arms around.
2 L's,
Also
2 P's,
flailing.
right?
2 L's, 2 P's.
No, that's Mississippi.
No, that's 4 I's.
Oh, 4 eyes.
Do we need to
a
spell
lot of
Tuscaloosa
S's.
again?
Tuscaloosa. That was a good one, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
pop quiz. How do you spell Tuscaloosa? Cameron, go.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're not doing. But anyways, I really need Kansas City to lose. I made when we did our midseason review of our picks. My hot take was that Philly and Kansas City would not be in their conference championship games. So 1 for 2 so far. You guys,
And look what you've done to Jason Kelsey. You jackass.
I mean, look what you made me
Kenny.
do.
Oh, guys, did you see the picture of Jason Kelsey that he gave a jersey to the lady at McDonald's? Kenny, that is you. there is no way that is Jason Kelsey. I want to duplicate that picture somehow, some way, because that is you.
All right, Kenny, you have a project. Go to McDonald's in the morning, get 2 sausage McMuffins and a large.
No, it's
coffee.
sausage, egg, and cheese
Sausage,
biscuit
egg,
is
and
what he
cheese
gets.
Can I not just get a McGriddle? Come on.
No, you have to order the same thing and see if somebody thinks you're Jason Kelsey. Please do it. Please do it.
Oh, you needed to end the podcast right there.
Do you guys got anything else to go here?
No, let's finish it up. It's been too long.
All right. Well, we are Ride the Pine. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Sean, cut all this.